Well, happy Labor Day, all you Sand Run travelers. Steve and Reggie here, and we think we've got just a terrific show for you this month. Some things have come up. We're starting to plan into the 2021 season. We realize what 2020 has been like. I've seen a number of really good jokes. One of my favorite one right now is that we are planning to stay up for midnight for New Year's Eve this year. And we're not really interested whether 2021 is coming in. We're really interested in seeing 2020 leave. It's been that type of year for us, folks. We do have some things that we identified here. The COVID update is more of probably the same. What I can tell you is that the casinos we've gone to are still giving us a warm and fuzzy feeling about how they are taking care of the protocols and taking care of their customers. But more to that, we've really begun to recognize that there's a couple of drawbacks if you are interested in going to a casino. Not a lot of food options open. We just came back from both Meadows and Wheeling, and while the casinos themselves are doing just fine as far as taking care of folks, there's not an awful lot of food options. We pretty well decided until places like that open with some at least reasonable food options, other than kind of some if you will, fast foody type things. We might do some type of road trip to them over the course of the next few months, but we're not going to contemplate an overnight. Now that may be different when it comes to Belterra in November. We have to wait and see what the options are going to be. That trip is still scheduled. I think it's November, second weekend in November. We'll see if we can do it by bus or if we have to do another method to go there. Belterra at least has some decent sit-down food options that we can deal with. The others really didn't. The other thing that we have noticed, which will affect our table players, will not terribly affect our slot players. But the number of tables that are open, all games are available, but there's not a lot of variety or a lot of extra tables open. The most we've seen at any table anymore is 4, and that's when you have the plexiglass stalls to play in. A lot of places are doing 3 only with masks. And there's not a lot of extra tables open. So if you happen to get on a table that you like and you're having a bad run, there's not another one frequently to go to that's going to be open. So just a word of caution as you go to these things. We are still planning to go to Vegas. We have a number of folks who have signed up. We booked the airline. We are going to downtown Vegas October 25th or October 24th, I think it is. And we can still book a room. Golden Nugget is working with us very closely, so it's still a viable place to go. We're hoping to have a few of the smaller shows open. We know a lot of the major restaurants are downtown, should be open. Or actually, we know it is. And so we're still looking forward to the grand opening of the new Cirque Hotel. It should be an interesting, different time to go to Vegas. So if you've ever wanted to go to Vegas and maybe not deal with all the people that are normally there, this might be the time. We're looking forward to it. We expect to go, and we'll host the group as we go. The other big thing that we're trying out, and if you are on our email list, you may have gotten an email invite. If not, consider this your invitation. We are actually planning what we're calling a casino caravan. It's drive your own together, and it goes to Presque Isle. We chose a location close in. We have rooms in the Baymont for the night of September 27th. When we had to cancel our September cruise, we actually posted this and went ahead and blocked these rooms. But with the bus conditions still pretty difficult, we thought we'd try something different. If you're interested, look us up. Look up Reggie, look up the San Run Travel page. If it's not there, give us an email or post us on our Facebook page and we'll get back to you. All we're doing is charging $100 for the room, which is our cost. And it's for two. And we're going to leave Sunday morning going to meet somewhere by car and then have a arrival time that everyone needs to be there. We are hoping to organize a couple of group meals, whether it's a meal on the way up or a wine tasting and meal on the way back. So if you're interested to get a little bit of excitement and get out with some of your old buddies, we'd look forward to doing it. I will be going, so let us know, and we'd love to do it. We are, like I said, planning for 2021. On the docket right now is already our cruise to the Panama Canal. We will be losing our inventory on September the 8th, but my gut feel tells me that it won't be any difficulty to continue to sign up for this cruise. We do have a group going. We have a number of folks going, a number of casino-related folks going. It's an 8-day cruise going out February the 5th, is it, Reg, or 6th?
February 6th.
February 6th?
6th to the 14th.
Okay, and it's going to be great. Great different time. As of right now, it's going. All your monies would be refundable, so that if for some reason the cruise get canceled or you catch COVID, things would be cancelable. We are very much encouraging purchasing the travel insurance for this trip. We are going to go to a mini wine tour to Belterra, Southern Indiana, on Mother's Day or the week after Mother's Day. We haven't decided quite yet which day that will be, but that is the trip that's planned. So start thinking about that. As a matter of fact, if you've got a preference to Mother's Day or the Sunday after Mother's Day, let us know. Since we haven't exactly blocked it yet, we'll be more than happy to, if there's an overwhelming response one way or the other, to take that into account. We are planning a summer cruise to Key West, which will be primarily the U.S. and the Ocean Key and the Bahamas. And since it's a private island, we have every reason to believe that under every circumstance, as long as the U.S. lets us leave the ports, that we'll be going there. We are revisiting New Orleans next year in anticipation that COVID will be over and we can resume our normal trips. And the people were so intent on going to New Orleans this year that we hope we can take them again next year. Finally, we are going to do our major wine tour in September next year. Now, I had listed Indiana as a possibility, and it still could be, but we have really 3 or 4 major areas that we could do wine tours to. One is back up to Michigan, which we haven't been there in a number of years. The Finger Lakes we could go back to, or back to the Poconos. And I'm not going to tell you guys my preference. What we're hoping to do is, folks, let us know on our Facebook page, the San Run Travel page, where your preference would be, and we'll start working towards that. We hope to get maybe an overwhelming response one way or the other. If obviously if it's an even split, we'll make the decision where we're going. And then last, we will go back to Vegas next year. We'll probably stay, not probably, we will stay downtown at the Golden Nugget. And so that'll be next October as its annual basis. So that's what we have coming up. And then at the end of the show, stay tuned for our monthly drawing. Now, this month, we have decided to talk about one of our favorite places in the world. Reggie and I are Bahamians at heart. And so we're going to start out and talk about the Bahamas, show you a little bit about what we've experienced there, and maybe give you a little bit of history and lessons. I got some information here that hopefully I can take a look at. One of the things that people think of Grand Bahama and Nassau as the two major parts and may not realize everything that's available in the Bahamas. Grand Bahama Island is actually what's known, most people know it as Freeport. And when we talk about Nassau, Nassau is just one of two islands that comprise New Providence. The other is always known as Paradise Island, which is where Atlantis is. So those two islands, New Providence and Grand Bahama, typically make up a majority of what people know about the Bahamas. Before I get into some of the other islands, I'd like you to realize that there are over 700 islands in the Bahamas chain. They were initially inhabited by the Lucayans, which was a branch of the Arawakan Indians of the Taino people. Columbus was the first European to see them, and his first landfall in the New World in 1492 was actually in San Salvador, in the Bahamas. That was in 1492. Along came the Spanish and turned the Lucayans into slavery on Hispaniola. In 1718, the Bahamas became a British colony. And when the British clamped down on piracy after the American Revolution, the Crown resettled thousands of American loyalists to the Bahamas. They took their slaves and established plantations. The slave trade was actually abolished by the British in 1807, although in the Bahamas it wasn't abolished till 1834. Later, the Bahamas became a haven for freed African slaves, and they were resettled on islands by the Royal Navy, and some North American slaves and Seminoles also escaped to the Bahamas. The country gained independence in 1973, and that was under Elizabeth II, and they still revere Elizabeth as a patron of the Bahamas. It's a little brief history, very brief, so you can get a little bit of idea of the history of the Bahamas. One of the things that I'll show a little quick picture of today is the knowledge that there's a thing in the Bahamas called the Junkanoo, which you might relate to Mardi Gras or the Bummers Parades or some of the other freedom festivals in the world. The Junkanoo is really Bahamian celebration of their freedom and takes place starting on Christmas Day or the day after Christmas and goes through New Year's Day. It's loud, it's fun, it's everything you would think of a celebration. I don't know that we have a kind of a video of that today, but along the way I may find one. But if you ever go on a vacation to any of the Freeport, Nassau, or some of the private islands of the cruise lines, there will probably be a Junkanoo celebration, and just take a part of it and enjoy it. One of the things that people, like I said, there are 700 islands in the chain. There's other major islands that most people don't go to, although they are gorgeous, and they don't get near the press of Grand Bahama and Nassau or New Providence. They're Abaco, Eleuthera, which we thought we were going to go to last year and were unable to get there. Andros, there's the Inagua chain, which is where I was first introduced to some of the turtles and stingrays. That was my first experience with a stingray. And the iguanas were fabulous. We did a iguana feeding where the iguanas, just hundreds of them, just came out of the bushes to be fed. One of my recent great islands to go to is Bimini, and I've long desired to go to Bimini. We will feature that a little bit later in the show with a video, and you might get a better idea why I'd love to visit the Bimini. And then many of the cruise lines have started their own private islands in the Bahama chain. I know the one we have just recently gone to was Ocean Key, which is owned by MSC Cruise Line. I know Carnival has one in the Bahamas, as does Royal Caribbean. So they're being taken up because in very much the beauty and the restfulness of the Bahamas is something that you just can't get anywhere else. The waters are, to me, some of the most beautiful areas of the world. So now what we'd like to do is we took some special slides, and Reg is going to talk to you a little bit about his favorite island, which I believe is Freeport or Grand Bahama, and then I'll take up for a little bit of Nassau. So right now, let me go find the slideshow, and we will get started. So I'm going to turn this over to Reg now. This is a beach in Grand Bahama Island, and Reg's going to walk us through Grand Bahama. Take it away, Reg.
All right. Well, I started going to the Grand Bahama Islands in early 80s. And the one thing that I liked about it, they had two speeds, slow and stopped. And when you look at a gorgeous beach like this, you can see why slow and stopped works. Because once you get on this beach, that's what you want to do. You want to slow down, stop, and take a look at what's going on around you. Go to the next one. We went to a resort that was in Freeport called Arlukaya. And at the resort, they had an infinity pool. And this is a picture of that infinity pool. And it looks like you can walk from the pool right out into the ocean. Which was it was such a gorgeous shot. I just had to take it and see what it looked, see how it would look from a photograph. Next. At the resort, they had some gorgeous walking trails just throughout the resort, and you can see the different palm trees and the shading and lighting hitting through as you're walking through. It's such a relaxing place, and you know, with me being a counselor, after listening to people's problems all day, coming down to the Bahamas was a great way to relax, change gears, get away from it all, and forget about all the cares, the problems and troubles of the day. And with the way things have been going with this COVID, the Bahamas seem like a good place to be right about now, where we can get away from the problems of the day. Okay, next. This is the resort itself. This is just a shot of the outside of the resort. It was one of the most beautiful places we'd seen in a while. The photo that just came up is going into Nassau, which is what Steve is going to talk about next. That's at the square in Nassau. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Steve and let him tell you a little bit about Nassau.
Thank you, Reg. Yeah, this is one of the government buildings in the square at Nassau, and with it you get a real idea of the colorful nature of all of the building and architecture in the Bahamas. We see a little bit of that in the States, in places like Charleston, South Carolina, but in the not only in the Bahamas but all over the Caribbean islands, you see this colorful nature of how the architecture is made. This is a good shot Reg took of a Surrey ride. I think I have another picture of it in one of the other shows that we do. But this is really a wonderful, laid-back way to see, especially downtown Nassau, and not feel the hustle and bustle. And this is the world-famous Atlantis Resort. It's in Paradise Island, which is part of New Providence, which is across the bay from Nassau itself. And if you look right there in the middle, there's it's called the Bridge. It's actually called the Bridge Suite, and I don't know what it goes for now. I think it was back in the late '90s. It was going for $10,000 a night, and it was sold out for 3 or 4 years. I remember during the tour that I took of Atlantis, of asking if we could rent it for a minute because it was way more than I needed. This is one of the lagoons in Nassau, I believe in Atlantis, which are open. You can buy a day pass and enjoy the adventures at Atlantis. And this is really the inside of Atlantis. Almost every time we do a cruise to Nassau, one of the excursions is usually to try to go to Atlantis, because it is such a fabulous place. You can see back here a little bit of the aquarium. So it's a world-renowned aquarium. So it's really quite the adventure to go and explore Atlantis. It's just a fabulous place. And if you go to Nassau, you do want to kind of take care of that and make sure that you go over and see it. Go.
It's definitely worth going to Atlantis because it is one of the most gorgeous places you're going to see. You'll see a lot of the TV ads about coming to Atlantis. Staying there is expensive, but taking the shuttle over or the boat ride over to just walk through and spend a day there, it's plenty of things to do, plenty of things to see, and it's definitely well worth the trip.
And along the way, we took some fabulous pictures. This is just a picture from our cruise ship. This is what entry to the port of Nassau looks like. It's a strip of land that goes along the outer side of Paradise Island, and the ships drift in to the port, and this is the view you have as you're coming in. Now, there are several photographs here I thought were kind of interesting. A few years ago, we were fortunate enough to actually run a wedding in Nassau for a good friend of mine. And what I thought this was is, I talked about junk canoe earlier, and this is a man with a drum and in a junk canoe marching outfit. And this is a very sedate junk canoe outfit, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of the nature of the thing. This is our friends getting married in Nassau. And quite frankly, folks, if you've ever got the idea that you want to do what really turns out to be an inexpensive romantic wedding, can't pick a better place. It's ideal. And then this was the same couple on their, if you will, their wedding honeymoon. But I thought I'd show you this because this is what's called the Atlantis submarine. And almost every island you go to in the Caribbean has one of these. It's the way it's set up, it's a kind of an undersea watch point to go down if you don't want to go scuba diving or you don't like snorkeling and you want to see what the sea life is like underneath, you take one of these Atlantis undersea sub adventures and you'll be able to take a look at the sea. And then this is a carriage ride. And Reg had a picture earlier, a little bit more elegant, but this is kind of, it takes 3 people and a driver, and you can see downtown Nassau from a carriage. One of the greatest things to do. This has always struck me. One is called Ardastra Gardens in Nassau. The marching flamingos. And for years I didn't go. I thought, oh, why do I want to watch a bunch of flamingos? Well, one year we finally went on one of the tours that we operated, and it was fascinating. It is well worth your time to go watch the marching flamingos at Ardastra Gardens.
Yeah.
Now, this is do you remember them, Rich?
Oh, yeah. Sharon got out and marched with them.
This is, I didn't realize this picture was going to be so small. I guess I needed to blow it up more. This is what's called the Queen's Staircase. The Nassau folks built this in honor of Queen Elizabeth II, or maybe it was Queen Victoria. I think it was Queen Victoria. I made a mistake earlier when I said it was Elizabeth II that they revered. It was actually Victoria that they revered. And this is the Queen's Staircase. It goes from the upper level where the forts are down to the base level at Nassau, and it's in honor of Queen Victoria. This is Fort Charlotte, which is another picture, another tour location in Nassau that you get a real feel for how the islands were protected from the pirates and some of the other ne'er-do-wells that would try to get into the colonies.
Yeah, they've been trying to keep the ne'er-do-wells out, but we keep finding a way to get back.
This is a little different view of the total view of Atlantis. This is, of course, from one of our cruise ships. Here's the original Atlantis, and then this is the newer hotel. It's from when it began back in the 1950s and 60s. Paradise Island has grown from an almost desolate island with maybe one hotel to a massive resort complex, of course, led by the Atlantis construction. I took this off of the website that we're going to go to very shortly because I thought it really gave you a good idea of what the waters around Nassau look like, what fishing in Nassau might be like. Down here, there's a little sail fishing boat, little fish boats out here. These all are each individual islands, and they're all over. And this is what you see when you start drifting in and out by boat or by plane. And I thought we'd leave you with this. This is a sunset in Nassau. And if you've ever wanted to just sit, go someplace and get away from the world and the troubles of the world, this is it. I cannot encourage you enough to go to the Bahamas and enjoy the time there. Okay.
For me, the waters is what caught my attention first, the color of the Bahamian water, but the beauty of the islands is what keep me coming back.
Right now, we've queued up a video that I ran across this morning, and I'm gonna really encourage you to go to a website called Bahamas.com. It's one of the better websites I've run across for talking about locations and what's available to do and what the locations bring to you. But I've had a desire and a dream to go to Bimini and scuba dive for the Atlantis Highway for probably 25 years. And so I haven't obviously been able to do that, but in looking around, one of the great islands that we just visited, the Ocean Key for the MSC Cruise Line, is located in the Bimini chain of the Bahamas, and the waters were they just blew me away. And then I ran across this little 5-minute story about Bimini itself. So I thought we'd go ahead and show this to you and just sit back, relax, and take a tour.
There's always a lot of very colorful things that have gone on in and around Bimini. There's a charm here that's second to none. This is the place that you can really find yourself. You dive with Atlantis, or dive to Sapono, or you can fish outside and catch some wildwood. There's just a lot of great marine life both. In quantity and variety. One of Bimini's best kept secrets, believe it or not, is the crystal clear waters. The most colorful water in the world is Bimini Blue, right there. If you come to Bimini, you must enjoy the beautiful beaches here. The beach is spectacular. I mean, you got a whole land of the island that is very beautiful, and you can live with the sun and enjoy it. The beaches is unbelievable. And the great Atlantic Ocean is right out there for you to see. And all the great men that we have had come to Bimini, none has left with bigger footprints than Ernest Hemingway. The island embraced Hemingway as he embraced the island. We got inspiration from catching these big fish off the coast of Bimini. For the last 75 years, all the prosperity we've been enjoying from big game fishing is due to Ernest Hemingway and his writings. And he'll live on forever. Bimini has always been known for its fishing. Whether you're talking about big game marlin fishing, but also bone fishing, the whole mangrove forest that's up there, it has outstanding bone fishing. Bone fishing basically is hunting on the water. You got to go out there and hunt for the fish. And they're very fast, and they hate man with a passion. So you have to trick them into getting the bite, you know. But its size is one of the strongest fish around, and the thrill of excitement of hooking up is unreal. So we've always big game fishing. We started that. The mangrove area up there is offering a lot of activities for folks and something new that they haven't done before. You need to take a trip in my boat to go through the Bonefish Creek where Dr. King wrote his last speech. The water is so pretty that you can't believe it. It feels so free out there. The air is so fresh. And it's like an Indiana Jones type adventure. You're going through a small creek and there's mangrove bushes on either side. And a lot of the folks who will take you on those trips explain how the mangroves act as a nursery for a lot of the fish life here. Big schools of eagle rays be out there. And that's a beautiful sight. And go through them and they just run in all directions. Certain times of the year you see a lot of bird life in there. The tranquility out there is just second to none. Anywhere in the world, it makes you think you're in heaven. Bimini has some absolutely outstanding scuba diving. Its situation between the Gulf Stream just being a mile and a half offshore to the west and the mangroves and Bahama Bank off to the east. The reefs are beautiful. And there's always something new, just like the fishing. Every day is a different experience. So you see the sharks, the stingrays, the eagle rays, bonefish. They're all out there. When it comes to fish life, very, very few places sort of can match up to what Bimini offers. You haven't seen Bimini, you know, until you see the Atlantis, dive in Atlantis, and offshore down at the Sapono, which is, I say, a very spectacular place. It has always been a metaphysical draw to the island. It's tied in with Atlantis, and so there's also an area up in the mangroves called the Healing Hole. The Healing Hole is a hole in the back of the mangroves that has fresh water coming from the bottom, and it's got a mixture of sulfur and lithium in it. And both of those are healing agents. The Healing Hole, that's the one place you need to get. Constantly was actually looking for Bimini when he was in search of the Fountain of Youth, and there's an area in South Bimini that pinpoints the Fountain of Youth. You must come up and see the Bimini boat yard. Where I'm at, to see the boat building. My boats are built out of all wood. And because of the way they're finished, they're a piece of art, and they come from all over to see them. I would say that if there's one thing a person needs to do is see the Dolphin Hook, and you could say it doesn't look like any other place in the world. A poem in stone, if there's such a thing that can be done. And I want to do it from using the local resources. This is a place that I've been working on for 18 years. The whole house is a museum. It's now become a tourist attraction, a Bimini landmark, and a must-see place when visiting Bimini. There's a charm, there's something about Bimini I can't put my fingers on it, but it's just something that I just put my hand in the air and say, I love this place.
There you go, folks. One of the most beautiful places on the world. And we hope you've enjoyed today's show, and we hope somewhere along the line you'll join us for an adventure in the Bahamas, whether it's Bimini, Ocean Key, Nassau, Freeport. We'd love to have you join us. So just remember, Sand Run Travel when you're doing it. Go.
We hope you'll come join us soon. We look forward to seeing you. Now it's time to get our drawing in. Steve, give me a number from 1 to 60.
How about 23?
23 is Mary Shout.
All righty, Mary Shout, you are our monthly winner for our $25 gift certificate for watching the Sand Run Travel Monthly Show. We hope we haven't gone too long this month, but as you can tell, we absolutely adore the Bahamas. So happy travels, and we hope to see you soon.